I'm going to briefly do a rundown of the 4 hypotheticals, and we'll start with number 1. So the primary question we want to ask ourselves when coming up with a name for a firm is the name misleading? And that falls under Model Rule 7.5. So for example, in the hypothetical, if a solo practitioner were to add "and associates" to the name, it could potentially imply, to say associates generally implies a lawyer relationship. So if we're going to come up with a name, a better or more appropriate name to ensure that nothing misleads the public would be law firm. So the answer to hypothetical number 1 is primarily, while it's not against the rules per se, it is less misleading when you have a staff that consists of only a single attorney to refer to the practice as law firm instead of the name of the attorney followed by "and associates." For the second one, hopefully everybody knew that the idea of billing one client for the 4-hour plane ride along with the other client for 2 hours, which work was being done on another case, would be considered double billing, and that would be unethical. What the attorney could do is charge 2 hours for the one client for the flight, and then 2 hours to the other client for the work that was done on the case while in flight. For number 3, essentially we want to make sure that there's no conflict of interest here, but we do have a responsibility to former clients, and so a majority of attorneys would say that representing a husband when you previously represented his wife would be unethical, particularly where support and alimony are concerned, because there's privileged information that was exchanged between the wife and the attorney, and it would be nearly impossible for the attorney to work with the husband without either divulging that information or without somehow changing his approach to the divorce because of the information he or she has. And for the final one, this one's really just an opinion question, but I think that the most important thing to remember is that our clients' needs come first, even our pro bono clients. However, in a situation where the firm is going through some financial uncertainty, you don't want to put yourself in jeopardy, because ultimately that would put the client in jeopardy if your firm were to close midway through a case. So if the finances were that much of a concern that you knew you couldn't take on this pro bono case without a significant loss being incurred, then I would suggest that you take that pro bono client and you actively seek out another qualified attorney who may be willing to take the case pro bono. And that's it. Thanks, guys.